so we should be live. Something resembling that anyway. So we're back with our Bladerunner. This will be episode 3. If any of you missed the first one, we didn't do that on Twitch, but it is on the YouTube channel, which let me drop some banners here. If you go to bluemagic.com, BLUMAGIK.com, you will find all the links there, including to the YouTube channel. It is audio only for our first episode. The second episode should still be on our stream feed. If not, it is also over at YouTube right now. And tonight, part 3 with GM Kelly. I guess let's go ahead and introduce the characters. I'm Bert. I am playing Percival. The what are they called again? I am not human.
Replicants.
I am a replicant. Yes, I am a replicant indeed. Darren, who are you playing tonight?
I'm playing FN9-239 Fenna, who's the replicant Doxy, which turned a little bit charming. Welcome.
Awesome. And Andrew, who are you playing tonight?
Hello, I'm playing Olsen Backer, a human Blade Runner who, let's just say he thinks replicants are more people than people. From his background.
And Bill is under the weather tonight. He may join us in a bit, but it's not looking too likely. So we're going to let Bill rest tonight. But Kelly, take it away.
All right, so we're back on the acid rain-soaked streets of Los Angeles. When we ended the last session, we had just started our third shift. Keep in mind that you get stressed if you don't take some downtime after 3 shifts. So that's why we're keeping track of your shifts. At the end, we had Fenna had gone and done some investigation at the Metro Cab dispatch center and gotten a little bit of information there. The rest of the group has split up, and we had Percival and Willem go to Tyrell. No, not Tyrell. Who's the main one? Wallace Corp. They've been called into Wallace Corp by Quell, the representative that you've been tasked to deal with. And we have Olsen has made their way to Leah's apartment. So we'll start with Olsen. So you get to Leah's apartment, and it's a traditional, or not traditional, but it's reminiscent of all the other common apartment buildings right now. It's made of concrete and steel. It doesn't look anything special. It's not pretty. It's functional.
Traditional LA.
Yeah, exactly. But it's close to the LAPD office, which makes sense for a Blade Runner. So you get there, and her apartment is a couple of flights up. So you climb the stairs, and it's not the greatest apartment. You know, there's ruffians in the stairwell and different floors and all that. It's not the quietest or anything like that. But it's a place to call home, I guess. And maybe because you're high up, you'll have a bit of a view. Who knows? So you get to the floor where Leah's apartment is, and as you get into the hallway and start going, you can hear or see some figures down at the other side of the hallway. There in the dim light, and from the smell of it, they've been drinking a bit there. But they're a few doors down from Leah's door. So what do you want to do?
I'll go up to Leah's door and ask to the 2 gentlemen, hey, have you guys seen Leah around? You know her?
So when you haul her down the hallway, and they're in a bit in the shadow, so it's hard to see exactly, make out the details of who they are. But you can definitely smell them. One of them gets up, and he half stumbles, half walks over to you. And he's a big guy. He towers over you a good foot, and he's at least 100 pounds heavier than you are. And he just reeks of cheap whiskey. And he comes up to you, he's like, are you one of those skin jobs? But he slurs his speech.
Skin jobs.
This is your friend, and he points to the bottle in one hand, and he points to the.
Sorry, cut off a bit there.
Oh, he points to the apartment you're standing in front of. And he says, "This is the job that used to live here." And he
Sorry.
Yeah, you were cutting out there a bit.
was
Kelly,
that
you're
really-
okay now, but you fuzzed out for just a little bit there.
Here, so I'll just reset my headset. Hang on. So I'm hoping this is a little better. Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that. So the guy comes up and he points to the door and he says, "Are you friends with this skin job?" And as you look at the door, you can see that it looks like someone had spray painted skin job on the door, and then it was hastily washed off, but the remnants of the paint are still there. And he's towering over you. He's at least a good foot taller than you, and at least 100 pounds heavier than you. He's probably around 260, 280, and he smells like cheap whiskey. He's like, "I said again, are you friends with the skin job?"
Work friends. More like acquaintances.
And he gets a little closer, and the smell is so horrible on his breath, and it just reeks from his pores. And he says, "Are you a skin job? I want you to make a roll for me. I think it's this is where I just don't know the. I think it's observation. Is that one? Yes. Make an observation with advantage, please."
All right.
Oh, you got 2 successes. Awesome. So yeah, you can hear, as he's saying that, you can hear that his friend is getting up and shambling down the hall to you. And you can see in the guy that's in front of you, you can see a little shine as he moves. A little, his jacket opens, and it looks like he's got a gun on his waist. So he says, "So you're
All
a
right.
skin job too?"
I quickly pull out my gun, put it under his chin, shout, "Better tell a friend to keep his gun in his pants."
And the guy just kind of stands there, and he smiles, and he slowly reaches, and he kind of opens his jacket, like not in a perverted way, but he opens his jacket and he reveals that there's 2 guns in holsters, one on each side, and he's like, "Please, your gun doesn't scare me. Now I ask again, are you a skin job?" And it's
What is
clear
a
that it's clear that he so in Bladerunner universe, a skin job is a derogatory term for a replicant. And
No.
you would know that, like,
Born.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
not really well received by some members of the population.
No. Flesh and blood. I say
He just-
directly.
he looks you over and he says, "So what are you here for?"
All right.
You come to arrest
It's
her?
I'm just seeing what's going on. I think you should, you and your French just go on home.
All right. Make a manipulation roll.
All right. Manipulation.
All right. He looks at you for a second and he thinks about it and he says, "Yeah, all right. I don't want to have anything to do with you skin jobs anyways." He turns around and he says to his buddy, he's like, "Yeah, they're fine. Let's go. We don't want any trouble." And they shamble back to their end of the hallway where they started out. And you can see they sit back and they start mumbling to each other and passing the bottle around.
All right. I holster my gun and see if I can get into her apartment.
Okay. Unfortunately, the stench of cheap whiskey lingers far longer than you would prefer. So you notice that the door is locked. What do you want to do? How do you want to get through?
Huh. Is it a manual lock or is it a digital lock?
It's electronic, digital.
Could I roll the tech, see if I can hack it? I mean, I'm sure I have like some cop thing to open up doors.
Well, what cop thing would you can definitely roll a tech? What cop thing do you think you have, or do you have? Not do you think? Do you have?
Oh no, where's my gear? Gear's empty.
Oh,
I get. I'll just go ahead and roll tech and see what happens.
all right. Let's roll tech. Hey, you're hitting them all today.
Jesus.
So you're always good for rolls, Andrew. Except when you're up against vampires.
Hey, I took that vampire with me.
So yeah, so you hook up to the door pad, the keypad or whatever, and you key in some stuff, and you're able to bypass it. It's not a particularly great lock. In fact, you kind of expected better for officer of the LAPD. But it's probably the stock lock that came with the building, and the superintendent or the owners didn't want to pay for good locks, so it is what it is. So you get in there, and I have a handout for you. And I know we all love watching me fight with this to figure out how to get handouts.
Alright, I see C, D, and F. Guessing those are the handouts from previous things.
Previous, I think. If I can find this. Why am I always... Oh, here we go. I think I got it. Okay. So, how do I show to players?
Which handout?
There you go.
This is Leah's apartment. So, the way Blade Runner is supposed to happen, you don't have to play like that, but the way Blade Runner is supposed to happen, at least the pre-published adventures, is you get crime scene photos, and there's clues in the photo. They expect you to investigate the photo and look for the clues. So, we'll give you a second to look at those clues at the photo, and if there's anything that stands out, I'll just give it to you. If there's anything you miss, we'll figure out a way to get that to you as well.
Alright, first things first, that open book on the table there is calling to me.
The open book, you go and you look at the book. It's a collection of poems by William Blake, and it's open to the famous poem, The Tiger. So hang on. So there is another handout for there.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest at night. Small banner eye, confirm this some tree. Night eyes, wings. The hammer, blah blah.
So I'll tell you this, there is no direct clue in this poem.
Alright.
So you can figure out if it means anything to you or the case, but it's not a direct clue. It doesn't directly point to a location or a person or anything like that.
Alright.
As you flip through the book, though, you do notice that there's a page missing. Someone has torn out another poem.
Alright. I'll mark down the number. I'll look at the books and write down the book's title. Then mark what pages are missing. Write that down and make a note to go library or look it up.
Okay. So
next, I want to check. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's a few more clues here. What would you like to look at?
The butterfly in the jar.
Awesome find. So on that table between the sofa and the kitchen. So if you've seen Blade Runner 2049, this is a very similar layout to Officer K's apartment. If you haven't seen the movie, that's okay too. The butterflies are in a jar on the table. They're very surreal and beautiful butterflies, and they're moving around. And
I'm guessing replicants.
Yes. They don't call butterflies replicants. They call them artificial anemoids.
Yeah, anemoids. pretty.
Make a connections roll, please.
Oh, all right. Bring back up. Connections. There we go.
All right, so you got it. So you know that generally things like this are sold down on Anemoid Row. In, I forget what sector it is, sector 4.
All right. So I'll write down
1.
another note to check out Anmoid Row and ask around for anybody who has a taste for butterflies.
Mm-hmm. So what else do you see?
All right. Back to the book. There is another book with a jar on top. Is that like an urn with ashes or dirty laundry or dirty dishes or?
I don't see a jar on top of a book. Where's that?
Where the open book was, above that there's like a nook with another closed book.
It's just another book of it's like crime procedures.
All right.
LAPD crime procedures.
I probably have that. And the jar?
Yes. The jar is just a water bottle.
Ah.
Replicants do need to stay hydrated as well.
All right. I'll check out the takeout on the table in the middle of the room.
So you look at the takeout, and you've been investigating the room for a bit too. It's not just these 3 things that you've looked at, and you notice that there's not a lot of fresh food or really any food in the apartment. There's no evidence that there's any cooking going on in here. You look at some of the garbages, and there's lots of takeout containers.
Yeah. All right. Next, I'll check out her bedside stand with the picture and see if there's anything in the drawer.
Okay. Nothing special in the drawer. Just some socks and underwear kind of thing. But what you see is a photo of a dark-haired child who actually looks kind of similar to Leah herself. So there is a handout for this one.
Ooh.
Just hang on a second. And while you're looking at that, I should mention that while you were noticing the takeout containers and the lack of food, you also noticed one other thing that aligns with what you've been told before by other people or heard from William's CI skunk, is that there's a lot of empty vodka bottles in the apartment. So it's clear she drank a lot.
Sadly, something not very strange among cops, human or replicant.
Exactly. And Bill's here.
Bill! Billy B.
And that, I think, covers most of the clues in here.
Alright, so I'm guessing nothing on the bed or...
No. The bed is just a bed.
Alright.
But you know what? There's one. Make an observation roll.
Alright. Because I was thinking checking the back rooms or the shower with the light. Alright, observation?
Yeah, make an observation roll.
Alright.
Do you want to push it for stress?
You know what? Yes, I do.
All right, push. I forget how you figured out how to push anyways.
All right, something came up. Guess I'll push that. Oh, nope.
Okay. And oh, you know what? I read somewhere that you only get stress if you get a unicorn in your pushed roll. So pushing it does not give you stress in and of itself.
Oh, all right.
So unfortunately, you are human, so you only get to do one push.
All right.
So you can't find any other clues. But what do you want to do with the photo? And you've taken note of the poem. What are you gonna do with the photo? Hey, there's Willem.
Hello.
Take a picture of it. Look up. Hello. How you doing, man?
I've been better.
I love the shirt.
Thanks.
Okay, so what do you want to do with the photo? Sorry, Olson.
I'll take a picture of it and see if I could look up who it is.
Okay. So you'd have to take that back to LAPD. Your Kia, your knowledge information assistant, isn't going to be able to help you with that directly.
All right, I'll just take the picture then.
Okay.
And I'm guessing nothing important in the bookshelves other than books.
No, but you took the picture, and as you take it and you flip it over, you see there's a stamp on the back of the photo.
Ooh.
And it says Doc Badger.
Doc Badger.
Do you know who Doc Badger is?
I don't know.
Okay, make a connections roll.
All right. Connections. Guess I'll push.
Okay. So you got it. So it takes you a while to scan your memories in the ways that all humans are able to scan their memories. And you remember hearing about a Doc Badger who's a pawn shop owner in Sector 5.
All right.
So you've now thoroughly searched the apartment, and this is all you've been able to find so far. You're pretty convinced that there's not much else here at the moment.
All right. And I'll head on my way out.
Okay. As you exit, do you try and lock the door at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only
So you're able
proper.
to, yeah, you're able to lock it. And the potent smell of cheap whiskey still lingers right outside your door. And from the sounds of the two drunks have fallen asleep down at the end of the hall and won't be causing you any trouble as you exit.
All right.
Okay. So we have Percival and Willem. So Willem, just to quickly catch you up, we are in shift 3. The last episode, Fenna went, as beginning of shift 3, went to the Metro Lab dispatch center, got some information. Olsen is going, or technically has already been to Leah's apartment and looked for clues. So you and Percival are traveling to Wallace Corporation.
Right, I was supposed to talk with that one lady.
Well, yes. I don't know if I... Yeah, hang on 1 second here. Okay. There's a great photo in the PDF, but I'm not finding it in here, so... doesn't matter. It's more of the Tyrell Corporation when you first get there. In the first Blade Runner movie with the big pyramid walls and everything.
Gotcha.
So, Wallace Corp, you thought Tyrell Corp was big and a monument to some guy's Johnson. Well, Wallace Corp is even more massive and bigger, and it's almost like he's compensating as he want to do. So you take your spinner, the two of you are flying in there, and it's so massive you even are given an escort of 2 other spinners, one on either side of you. to guide you in, and maybe so you don't fly somewhere and see something you shouldn't as well. Now, Wallace Corp pretty much owns Los Angeles. They're by far the biggest corporation, more wealthy than almost everyone else in Los Angeles combined, likely. So they guide you to this huge cavernous garage where you land your spinner and you get out, and there's this bald gentleman in front of you, and he just nods at you, and he says, "I trust your flight and arrival are satisfactory."
Yeah, why am I here?
Quell has asked for you to come talk with her. I presume you are detectives Novak and Percival? Is that correct?
We are.
Percival just nods.
Very good. If you'll follow me, he says, and he nods again and he turns around, and you can see he kind of looks over his shoulder and waits for you to start following.
I follow.
Okay. He leads you through the labyrinthian hallways and tunnels and passages of the Wallace Corp, and you pass massive statues and exquisite paintings and art and everything that you've never seen before, and that you can only imagine that this is how the rich live, the super rich live. But you're not quite sure what this testament is to, other than to the fact that this person has more money than everyone else.
Right.
After about 20 minutes of what you're starting to think is maybe a tour to try and impress you, you're led to a big office with these expansive windows that look out onto the onto Los Angeles. And a desk is in the corner. And as you get in and the door closes behind you, the figure behind the desk rises. And it's a small figure. And they get up and you can hear clicking on tile floors. And a woman comes around and she says, it's about time. I assume you're the detectives? I thought there were 4 of you.
Yeah, the others are detained and you needed to see us right away, so we're here.
Yes. Okay, so here is what Quell looks like. Should be on somewhere on your main screen. So, and she motions over towards it's like a sitting area, couch and a couple chairs with a coffee table, and she motions you to come sit there. And she takes a seat herself. And she says, "So, what have you found out about this shooting?"
I don't think you got the handout out.
It should be on the main map of the city with all the other faces. Do you see it?
One of the faces. Okay.
Yeah, so it should be between.
All right, there she is. Yeah, Quell.
Yeah, it should be beside Taffy. If you see Taffy.
I see it.
Okay. So she's looking at you. She's like, "So, where are you? What have you found out so far?"
I'll give her sort of a rundown about, what we've done so far and what we found out so far, which isn't a whole lot, admittedly.
She says, she takes that and she thinks for a second, and she says,
I disagree, Mr. Novak. We've found out quite a bit so far.
Oh?
And she looks over at you, Percival, and she's like, "Yes, go on."
Well, I mean, we found out that the commotion seems to have been caused by a fellow officer. Give the information of that.
I see. So
in our questioning, there are some suspicious characters. The dancer at the bar, while giving us some useful information, I feel like she's holding back. And so this is, who was this? Taffy?
Taffy's the owner of the bar, yes.
No, that's the owner. So no, who was the girl?
Oh, Iris. Did I share
Iris.
the photo of
Iris, yeah.
Okay, yeah. The dancer Iris seems to have a backstory that she's unwilling to share, along with another replicant that was there during the commotion by the name of, who was the guy on the outside again?
You think of the tall albino?
Yeah.
Styles.
Okay. Going by the moniker of Styles. And so while Percival is saying this, he's watching to see if there's any reaction to the names.
Actually, no. She is as cool and collected as you've ever seen. She betrays no evidence of her true feelings or her thoughts. It's almost like you're talking to a blank wall with eyes.
Is she a replicant?
You don't know that.
Oh.
She's a corporate.
Mm-hmm.
She is a corporal.
She's
yes.
already dead inside.
Huh.
You do know, Willem, that she is high up in the Wallace Corporation.
It is possible that the Wallace Corporation can give us some insight into these particular replicants and what their backstory might be.
Interesting. She says, it sounds to me like you're saying that the replicant is responsible for the shooting.
There is an entanglement there, which we have not yet sussed out.
Well, I can assure you that there's no replicant responsible for shooting. No Nexus 9 model would ever do that. Clearly, you have failed in your duties as a detective.
That's cutting hairs. While no replicant may have pulled the trigger, it doesn't mean a replicant could not have set up the events to happen.
Interesting. You
What
think?
he said.
So which replicant do you think is involved?
Well, I've named the two that we know about so far. Actually, no, we know about the officer that was a replicant too, right?
So Leah was a replicant.
Leo is the... So it's been it's been a bit since we played.
Yes, it has.
So he was... The officer's the one killed.
Yes, Sandor was the one that was killed
Right.
by Leah.
Who was going after
Styles.
Styles.
Sandor was trying to arrest Styles in
Right.
the club, while the people from Kill magazine were harassing the dancer Iris.
Correct. And then the person that killed
Sandor.
Sandor was who again?
Leah,
Leah, right.
the replicant.
Also a replicant, right.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we have confirmations of this, that the gun was in the replicant's hand.
She looks down at her computer and she punches in some numbers. And she looks back up at you two and she says, and this replicant's name was Leah?
Correct.
And she worked where? She's a Bladerunner, you know that.
Oh, okay. So she was also an officer, right?
She punches it in and she's like, yes, I see Leah's record come up, a Nexus 9. Interesting. Well, there is no documented cases of Nexus 9s going rogue. I think your investigation has missed something important that has led you to a faulty conclusion.
Multiple witnesses, and did we have video evidence as well?
Not video evidence, no. Not of the shooting itself.
Okay.
Just eyewitness testimony.
Multiple witnesses. As we know, eyewitness testimony is nefariously incorrect at many points in time. So as I stated, while the replicant may not have pulled the trigger, certainly the events that took place were shaped by that replicant.
Interesting. You believe that this replicant Leah is the one involved?
She is involved.
Yes.
Whether she is the linchpin is yet to be determined.
Hmm.
Let us presuppose you are correct, and no Model 9 could have done this.
I am correct, she says.
In which case, she was at the scene and has valuable information that we need.
Do you not think, Detective, that it is much more likely that the people that are actually involved are paying off the witnesses to try and frame a replicant? Clearly, this is a job from those people in Kill
Unlikely.
magazine.
As the folks involved that we did question are from various walks of life, some employed there, some not, and enough was collaborated that these events happened. Whether or not she was the shooter is a matter of conjecture, but she was there.
Also, the witnesses were also replicants.
Do you tell them that, Percival and Willem?
Sure, yeah.
Yes.
Clearly, Nexus 8 models, a flaw in their genetic programming, but I assure you, Nexus 9s are incapable of going rogue, such as you have described. I think there is something else missing from your investigation, and I would urge that you go back and thoroughly investigate all the evidence and the people at the scene and
With
find
all
the real
due
answer.
respect, if
And
we
she
are
stands up.
incorrect,
She stands up
then
and
she was ordered to do so.
she smooths down her skirt and she's like, I have business to attend to. That'll be all, detectives.
If you're not interested in finding out the truth of what happened, why are we here?
I'm interested in finding out the truth. And she turns on you and she stares you down, Willem, and she gives you kind of like the creep, like she's like reading your soul with those eyes. She can stare deep into your mind, and she says, I want the truth, but it's clear that if you're trying to finger that a Nexus 9 is responsible for this murder, I cannot buy that. There is no evidence to that ever happening. We've produced millions of Nexus 9s, and none of them have gone rogue.
We're not then all the more likely that one will end up going rogue. Look, nobody's saying that you personally told a Nexus 9 to do this. What we're trying to do is get to the truth of what happened. And the more you just dismiss this out of hand, I mean, I don't know what you want from us unless you wanted us to do this so you can find the truth. That's what we're doing.
She gives one of those smiles where when someone gives that smile, you know that they're losing their patience, but they're trying to keep their composure. And it's about the first bit of emotion that you've really seen out of her. And she says, Detective, I can appreciate that you have a tough job and that you're out on the streets and you're talking to a lot of scum and lowlife. And, you know, you get your clues mixed up sometimes. What I want you to do is go back out and prove that it was those lowlifes at Kill Magazine that are actually the cause of this and not a Nexus 9. I cannot buy that a Nexus 9 would do that. There is no evidence of that. After millions of them, our quality control is perfect.
We will find who did this. That I can assure you.
I look forward to hearing that it was Kill Magazine's staff member. Maybe Shell himself. And when she says that, the door opens and two large men walk in, both bald as well, much like the one that escorted you here, except very much larger, each of them. She's like, Detectives, if you'll excuse me, I have other work to do. Please leave. And she goes back to her desk and sits down and doesn't even watch. And the two gentlemen just stand by the door waiting for you.
Okay, I'll go with them willingly.
They don't touch you. They're just there as escorts. Percival, what do you do?
Oh yeah, I leave. I will give a curt nod.
Okay. These two lead you down some passageways, and as you get halfway back to the spinner, the smaller gentleman who greeted you is there, and he bows his head and he's like, Gentlemen, thank you for coming in. I trust your visit was most interesting and useful for your investigation.
Oh yes.
Very good.
Very much so, thank you.
Quell has asked that if you come across any new evidence that you contact us immediately.
We certainly will.
Very good. And he leads you the rest of the way to your spinners without making the slightest of small talk. And he stands there and he watches you get into your spinners, your spinner. And as you leave the Wallace Corporation, two more spinners come to escort you away from Wallace airspace.
Okay.
So that's the end of that scene. Now, who do we have? We have Fenna. As you're leaving Metro Cab Lab, was there anything else you wanted to do before the end of the shift?
Is there a means to communicate or leave a message for the others in the squad?
Yeah, so you all have your Kias. It's basically like a smartphone.
Okay.
So you can communicate. And so now that the shift is coming to an end, I'd like to know if there's anything that you want to hold back from anyone else of your partners. Yes.
Fenna does?
Yeah, well, does anyone want to hold anything back, or are you sharing everything?
Oh, now I have to think, was there something scandalous?
I don't recall anything being scandalous, except it cost you 2 Chenyan points to get the information you got last time.
Yeah.
About, was it Bullet? I forget the name.
Yeah, Bill, what's his name, Gatsby or whatever?
Yeah, Bill Gorski.
Gorski? Something like that. And he runs a place where I'd be surprised we hadn't heard of it. Blade Runners go there to get.
Yeah, Bullet Bob's Runner Surplus.
So it's not a well kept secret, so it is very likely that you have heard of it. You might not have visited it.
Yeah, I'll send a message. I'll say, by the way, I went to that taxi dispatch center and found out some information. Mind you, guys all owe me some synthetic booze now because it cost me a fortune. And I found out that they made a discreet drop off to this location of the surplus pot. You might have heard of it, Bob's Surplus Guns. And there's a guy there we could talk to, maybe have a lead. But that's all I got, not much.
Hey, I know Bullet Bob.
You want to meet me there? Or you guys got something better? I don't really have much to go on. I'm trying to think of. We went to Leah's apartment yet?
Yeah,
Wait,
so
are you-
Olsen
Right.
did that that was our first scene.
Are you at the office with the computers?
No.
No, so Fenna is just leaving the Metro Cab dispatch, sorry. And then Willem and Percival just leaving Wallace Corp, and Olsen is just finishing up at Leah's. So it's like everything happens simultaneously.
And if I could ask for a reminder, I bribed a woman. It was about finding the dispatch records for the particular taxi, and that's the connection. And there was nothing else?
You bribed her, you got the information of which taxi it was that picked her up and where it dropped her off. And that's all the information you're able to get out of her.
What was the timing on the taxi? And this might be important. This was right after?
Yeah, so that was the only taxi that was there at the time of the shooting, because after the call went out that there was a shooting, no other taxis went.
Yeah.
They didn't want to risk anyone else's life. So it was the only one there.
And I know this is a simple gap to fill, and that was taken by Leah herself.
Yes, because you do have a photo from the Esper wall of her getting into a Metro Cab taxi.
Yeah.
And since it was the only one there, it has to be her.
I'm on my way to that Bob's Guns, and I'll find out where Leah went. If you want to meet me there, though, that's fine.
Okay, so we're coming to an end of shift 3. Now, replicants included, if you don't take downtime, you suffer stress. Do you want to take downtime? Now, downtime can be as simple as sitting at home watching Netflix and having a bottle of wine, or it can be you can go out to a club and relax. So it's basically you're not working the case, you're not on duty, you're just blowing off steam. So you can choose not to take downtime, and I think Willem, you don't need downtime until 4 shifts.
Right, but I don't know that I'm gonna go. I need to take downtime the next shift, so I think I'm gonna take it just so I can keep the same pace with my my coworkers here.
Does everyone else want to take downtime?
I think that'd probably be for the best. Keep the stress for when we want to do stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Fenna, what do you want to do? Do you want to take downtime, or do you want to push through it?
Are others taking downtime? Sorry, I was reading.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so, all right, I'll go to the fashion district and look for that specific stranger I had a dalliance with.
Could you repeat that? You're going to Fashion District and looking for...
A dalliance I had.
a dalliance. Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
going
I had a party in a
down.
lavish penthouse suite. There I had a little connection with somebody, something. So I'm gonna go see if I can find this dude. And
Okay, so... You know what? I want you to roll a d8 for me, Fenna, please.
it's in my character background. I'm kind of going with it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, for sure. A 3. What does a 3 get you? All right. So because I'm not 100% up on all the characters, I just want to read. This is from your key relationship, is it?
Yeah. The key memory.
Key memory. Okay.
It looks like I'm kind of, well,
Okay.
corny, I suppose.
So as you go down, so you're going down to the fashion district. And are you asking around? Or are you just walking the streets, or are you going back to where the spot where you met them?
Yeah, I was gonna go to that penthouse and case it out like stalker style for a little bit, and
Okay.
work up courage to go and ring the doorbell.
Okay. All right. Do you bring any like equipment with you, stakeout equipment, or are you just doing this the old-fashioned way with just your fedora and your eyes?
I'm kind of eating a kebab, and
Okay.
Because I'm not supposed to be here, and my programming's kind of going a little wiry.
Okay.
Being a replicant, but I finally hit my head a couple times. I put out the cigarette, and I'll walk up to the door and hit the doorbell.
Okay.
And see if I can come up with some sort of name or something quickly. My programming's scrambling in my mind.
Okay. So as you press the doorbell, you see a security guard get up from a desk on the other side of the window, and he comes up to the door and he opens it, and he's like, "Yes, how can I help you?"
Is Mr. James in?
It's possible. Is Mr. James expecting you? And
In
what
a
is your
way.
name?
Detective Fenna, and I'll show him my badge. Flash him.
And he looks at it, and he looks at his clipboard, and he says, "And what is this about, detective?"
Oh no. Oh, it's nothing, sir. I might have made a mistake, and I'll storm back to my cruiser.
Okay. As you're doing that, I want you to make an empathy roll. Or an insight roll. Make an insight roll. I want to see if you fail this, you're going to get a piece of stress. This has been kind of stressful because you've worked up the courage to go over there and meet this person.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're able to work through the stress, but it's still, you can still feel your heart palpitating, and the endorphins are racing through you. Like you're kind of in a high now, right? Like you didn't have to talk to him, you didn't have to meet him, but you tried, right? So all these conflicting emotions are filling you, and I'm going to give you 1 humanity point for that.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, being a replicant, she's very confused at the moment, but yeah, that's about it. Excellent.
Okay, so that's your downtime. Like more can happen, but on screen, that's all that happened. I think we have time for one more downtime. Does anyone else want to do a downtime? Okay, Percival.
Percival has gotten a taste for expensive burnt French coffees. So he goes, finds a coffee shop, orders up a magnificent cup of cappuccino. He goes to one of these places that's kind of like a book lounge / coffee shop.
Okay, all right. I want you to make a D8 roll for me, please.
A D8, you say?
Yes, please. Expensive burnt French coffee. What'd you get? A 5. Okay, so this is fine. You're sitting there drinking your coffee. It's I assume exactly as you like burnt coffee to taste. Burnt. Do you add any sugar or cream or honey or anything like that?
Of course not.
It's just pure black, pure burntness. Okay.
Well, the cappuccino
Just
has some
drinking
cream to
liquid
it.
charcoal.
Yeah.
Charcoal. Any biscotti or anything with it?
Of course.
Okay. So the
Also
biscotti
burnt?
is it's burnt and dry. Yeah, it's like burnt toast. So and there's soft jazz playing in the background. So it's nice and atmospheric and it's we just lost someone.
I'll put him
it's
back
nice.
on when he shows back up.
Okay. It's atmospheric and there's a lot of, younger people that are coming here because they think it's hip and the place to be. Welcome back, Fenna.
Great.
So it starts to get a little noisy as the night gets on, as the younger people come in and get their caffeine rush. And you're sitting there by yourself, and you can see some of them giving you the look. It's like you're taking up a table that we want to be sitting at, and you've already finished your coffee.
But I haven't finished my book.
All right, are you going to stay there all night reading your book? How long do you want to stay there for?
How long do I have to take for it to be considered downtime?
It's not like it's just a shift. So however long the shift lasts for, needs to
Okay.
last for.
Now, if I'm done, I'll get up and go.
So you get up and go. You've been there for, if you're reading your book, probably at least an hour, drinking your coffee, maybe more. And you get outside and it's dark out, and you turn a corner and some of the streetlights are out. And make an observation roll.
Ooh. Okay, let's see. Observation. Just at normal.
Yeah, just a normal roll. It's dark and rainy, as it frequently is on the streets of LA. So, but you got it. So that's the important part. So you're trained as a detective to be aware of your surroundings, and you spotted these two individuals in an alley that were watching you, and they've decided to make their move towards you. You suspect something nefarious is about to go down.
Right. So I am armed, right?
You are a police officer. If you took your gun with you, it's up to you.
Oh yeah, because I didn't go home first, so I'm still going off shift with all my gear.
Okay. So you have your handcuffs, badge, gun
Yep.
kind of thing. You are a detective, so you're not in uniform.
Mm-hmm. So just not turning around, recognizing that there's danger there, I will just kind of raise up my badge and say, "Really dumb idea, guys."
And so as you're not watching them, but you're listening to them, and their footsteps stop. And they're like, hey buddy, you got a smoke? We're just coming for a cigarette.
I don't smoke.
Oh, all right then. Well, have a good night. And you can hear them retreating.
Officer, it's have a good night, officer.
Officer, yes. Good night, officer.
You as well.
And they go back to their corner, and you can assume they sulk. So that's been two. We've done two downtime events. We'll do the other. We'll do the humans next time. You've had your downtime. You've all had your downtime. Some sleeping. It's morning shift. What would you like to do?
So we haven't gone back to what's the mainframe called?
There's the LAPD mainframe, and then there's the Esper wall, which is full of video and photos.
Okay. So what I think we haven't done yet is we need to know what Styles was being arrested for.
So you do know that he is an alleged suspected member of the Nexus Underground,
right?
And they expect him to be responsible for certain things that have happened.
Right. But an arrest was about to be made, so it wasn't just a suspicion. So what I was getting at is we need the officer's notes. The
Okay.
replicant that was killed, we need his notes on this case.
Okay. So you suspect that he didn't have any notes because he died trying to arrest Styles.
Yeah, but there's such.
So it wouldn't be that officer. Is that the officer you're talking about?
Yeah, no, that's just it. Like,
Sandor.
I don't see why a lone officer would go after a suspect that is potentially. Yeah, I find that suspicious that there are no notes or that he hasn't called for backup or something.
Well, okay. So they're in the LAPD. There is an arrest warrant out for Styles.
Mm-hmm.
And you found that out last episode when you,
Mhm.
I forget who confronted him, but some of you confronted him.
Yeah.
So Sandor likely was following that. Why he didn't call for backup, I'll let you make the inferences.
Yep. So is it normal policy to have your companion? I don't see. I don't know. Do Blade Runners usually work alone, or do they usually work in pairs?
They usually work in pairs.
Like, so who's his pair?
Leah.
Lady that totally didn't shoot him.
Right. So how about Leah? Did she have any notes on the case?
No, because she hasn't checked in since the shooting. She's disappeared. She hasn't. Well, I can't say that.
Well, what was her last contact that we have record of?
Oh, okay. So you can check the LAPD about previous cases.
Yeah.
So nothing okay. out. They're just investigating Nexus. Most of them are Nexus 8s that you have to investigate and determine if they're really Nexus 8s and retire them if you get an order for retirement. So it's very similar to your background, to Fenna's background, to Olsen's background, and all of yours are probably less colorful than Willem's background because he's been around a lot longer. But it's all very similar.
Okay.
There's nothing in her previous assignments that stand out.
Okay. And Leah's apartment had already been checked by Fenna?
Except, now having said that, I accept that Leah has been sent for baseline tests before. And where is this? And I think it was just a week or two before the shooting. She had been sent for a baseline test. So a baseline test is to recalibrate a replicant's emotions to determine if their emotions are wrong or outside of normal, and then they will recalibrate them after the baseline test. It all happens at the same time.
Do we have the results of that test?
Yeah, she failed it. She needed to be redone.
So she didn't show up for the recalibration then?
She did. They had it already, like just before the shooting.
Where was it done?
All of them are done at Wallace Corp. All baseline tests are performed and recalibrations are performed at Wallace Corporation.
So she lied to us then, Willem, because they knew there was something wrong with this Model 9.
I got that feeling the whole time we were there.
Mm-hmm.
It was just she wasn't even really listening to us. She was just like, oh, that's impossible. Obviously you were in error.
Well, right. That's the company line. The company can't be responsible. So she was just giving us the line. But more importantly, she was misleading us. She knew there was something wrong with this particular replicant.
Do you think she was personally culpable for this incident?
No, I'm sure she's a company mouthpiece through and through.
Yeah, when the corpos deal with bullshit, it isn't shallow, it goes deep.
And I suspect since it's a corporation, we don't know who did it. Like, we can't show that it's a specific mechanic or doctor or whatever is the one that's been doing the work on the recalibration.
Yeah, but they're probably connected to Mrs. Corporate Lady.
Well, I mean,
right.
So it would be embarrassing to her.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you don't have the access or the insight into who is performing the tests and the recalibrations at Wallace Corporation. The LAPD doesn't have the network access in there.
So who was at her apartment?
That was Olsen.
Olsen. Olsen, I assume that you took photographs of everything.
Yeah.
So
I
can we
shared all my
run the
stuff
girl through the database and figure out who she is?
Yeah, I have the picture, and on the frame there is a stamp of Doc Badger Pawn Shop, I believe. So might want to check that out. And also, the butterflies, anemoids in her apartment might be unique, so we could also go down to Anemoid Row and see who specializes in butterflies. See if we can find out more about Leah.
Is it safe to assume that you're starting the morning shift? You're spending the morning shift at Police HQ?
I think so, because
Yeah.
we need to do some data mining.
So you're collaborating with each
Yeah.
other right now. You're laying everything out on the table. Okay.
Well, actually,
also, the missing page from
hold on,
the
time
poem
out,
book.
because I know that this is all like we're encouraged to split up because of how the timing. Was there something else that needed to be investigated this morning? Because probably somebody should do that, like first thing.
So there was, unless you want to do something, there was nothing that had called out to you, like when Quell said, "Come see me immediately."
Mm-hmm.
So it's all up to you for how you approach it. So there's nothing.
Well, we
Time
still
sensitive like
have. Didn't
that.
somebody want to go to Bob's Bullet Bob's?
Yeah, Fenna, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, I've been trying to talk. Yeah, I'm going to Bob's. I told you guys to meet me there.
Okay.
And if they fill me in on their talk with Quell, I'm going to say, did you ask if she knew Leah personally or knew about Leah's failure of that baseline test?
With Quell, no, she flatly refused to answer any questions about nines.
Yeah, she's obviously a replicant. And
Yep.
she pressed you to kind of find the scapegoat, right? And
Well, not only that, but she
Find somebody
gave
else.
us the scapegoat that she wanted us to find.
do you think she's right?
No.
We have witnesses that saw Leah shoot him.
Correct. Those witnesses could have been compromised. That is possible, since there is no actual video. We need more proof. And Fenna, if you are visiting Bullet Bob's, perhaps you should take either Olson or Willem with you. Pairs.
Where's
Meet me
Leah?
there. I'm casing it out as we speak. I'll wait for you, and I'll case out the place when I get there.
Willem, what was your question?
Do we know where Leah is?
No, that's the question. That's one of the main questions
This
that
is-
you're
There's a
trying to
big
answer.
lead. I'm
Because we can-
following the taxi that dropped her off at Bob's.
We can get the
After
taxi
the murder.
information here at the wall, I assume. Since we know the cab was picked up, we can follow the cab through this town. I mean, that's what the walls are for, right? The video walls.
Well, you tried that in the
That was
first
already, yeah.
episode, and then that didn't work. So then,
Well,
Fenna
but did
went-
anyone actually call the cab company specifically?
oh yeah,
I've-
Fenna went there
I've
at the
been-
end of
I've
the last
been there.
episode. Yeah, that was Fenna's last shift.
Okay.
I talked to a woman there. It was quite cantankerous and rude, but I bribed her heavily, and she gave me information concerning Leah's last rendezvous with the cab that brought her to Bob's. And so
Okay.
I'm sensing a connection here. That was Bob. I look up him while I'm waiting for them to show up on my computer and say, okay, who's this? Is his name Bill or Bob?
Bob
Bob.
Gorski, I think is his name.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up his thing.
Okay,
Who is this
there's
guy?
lo and behold, there is a mugshot, if I can find it.
And have I met him? Have I been to this store, or do I get a?
That's up to you if you've been there or not.
I'm gonna say not, just because I'm just yeah.
Well, I did say I know Bob, so I'll go with you.
Okay,
All right,
so before we go to Bob's, someone said something about running this photo through the Esper wall.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Olsen, if you're going to Bob's, you can't run the photo through the Esper wall unless you give it to Percival or Willem or whoever is going to do that.
Yeah, I assume
Right.
he could just send us the picture, right?
I gave it to you. I have
Okay.
the physical picture.
Okay. So, so Percival, you're at LAPD. Willem, where do you want to go?
You're muted, Bill.
I knew that. I was waiting to see if you were alert.
And I failed.
Is anyone going with Fenna?
Yeah, Fenna and Olsen are going to go to Bullet Bob's.
Okay. I'll. What are you doing, Percival?
I am running down information here at the precinct.
Okay, I'll see what I can do with Percival then.
Okay.
All right.
So, I want to do the precinct first. In a few, I think it'll be very quick, and then we'll go to Bullet Bob's because we need some time for Olson to get there.
Yep.
And also, there's something I wanted to do with a downtime about the book and the missing page. I wanted to see if I could look it up online, get a digital copy, and see what was on the missing page, if that led to anything.
Okay, I will look that up for you in just a bit.
right.
I don't have it in front of me, but don't let me forget that.
All right, missing page.
Missing page. Okay, so Percival and Willem, you are at the LUPD. You go to the Esper wall and you plug in this photo of the child that Olson sent you from Leah's apartment, and you run all the queries on it that you can ever think of. Because I think Percival, you're fairly tech savvy, and William, you've been around for a while. You know all the tricks into these computers, and nothing comes up. No identification.
So the next thing then is to actually do forensics on the picture itself.
I should say nothing comes up definitively.
I did tell you where it was. On the back there's a stamp for a pawn shop.
Yep.
So
Right.
maybe she got it from the pawn shop. Maybe she's like, "Oh, that's a nice photo of a stranger's child. I'll hang
Right.
that up
So
Yeah,
I want
because I'm an
to know
alcoholic robot."
if it was traditionally printed, if it is mass produced. So in other words, it could just be a model if it's mass produced. Like I want to see if it's actually a photograph.
Okay, so there's no 100% definitive, but there is a 85% similarity to one replicant called Leah, which is the one you're looking for.
So it's basically what she would look like if she had a childhood.
You could say something like that, yes.
Okay. So how about the photograph itself? Can I tell if it's a mass-produced print or if it is an actual photograph, like someone posed for this?
It looks like a real photo.
Okay.
It looks like a real photo.
In my knowledge, are replicants based off real people?
So the way replicants, so you would probably know that. I would assume replicants and humans, especially Blade Runners, would know this, that replicants have templates. So there's only so many possibilities of what a replicant is going to look like, right? And then there's going to be not necessarily duplicates, like there's still changes that they make to them, but the facial features are generally, there's only so many templates that they follow. So, and producing millions and millions of replicants, you're going to get a lot of similarities. Much like you saw those bald people at Wallace Corporation, they all looked the same. Some were bigger, some were a little smaller, but they were the same template. Okay. You also know that replicants, and this is something that the two replicants will struggle with, is that you're aware that your memories are fabricated. You know that they're not real, but to you, they are real. You lived those memories. Every memory that you have, you've lived and experienced, and they shape who you are.
And to my knowledge, they don't make child replicants.
They do not, to your knowledge.
Then this is a real person. Is there any markings on the photograph to tell when it was developed, where it was developed, if this is old style film, like, decades ago, or if this is more modern, to give me an idea of how old this is?
You don't have the original, so it's harder to do that.
Oh, I thought he had the original.
He took a picture of the original.
No, I took it. I grabbed it.
Oh, you grabbed the
physical
original. Oh, have you? Okay, so did you hand it off?
Yeah, he said he did. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about the original. Or about the copy. I thought you photographed it. Sorry.
I did, and then you said I couldn't do anything with the photograph, so I took the thing itself.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So you've got the original photo. It does not look like a traditional film-based photo. It looks like it was somehow digitally produced.
Okay, so
either
this
off
is
like
more
a
modern.
Kodak or whatever.
Okay, sure, more modern then.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no real way to find out where it was developed because it didn't need to be developed. Printers sometimes leave marks, though. They do in current day. I don't know if that is in Blade Runner or not.
There's a mark on the back of the photo. It says Doc Badger Pawn
Yeah,
Shop.
yeah, but that's. And that's on the back of the photo, not on the frame.
Yes, it's on the back of the photo. I'm gonna get you to make a roll. I think. An intelligence. You know what? Make a make an insight. You can make an insight roll.
Insight is not good for me. Okay, here we go. Insight. I got a success.
So you got a success. So you are aware as replicants, as Blade Runners, you remember in your Blade Runner Training Academy class that you took there to earn your certificate to be an official licensed Blade Runner, that there is a machine called a Stelline machine, which will allow the operator to connect to a replicant's memory and print photos from it.
Okay, and so that's what I feel this is.
Yes.
Okay.
You do know that these machines are not common to come by.
Who would have them?
Generally,
a guy named Doc Badger.
Potentially, yes. So, other than Doc Badger, it would be the LAPD has those. You might get like a huge medical facility might have something like that, and obviously Wallace Corp, as they're the ones who created the machine.
Okay, good enough. Well, I'll relay this to everyone, and I will tell Finna and Olson that likely, if they do visit the doc's place, that he has one of these machines.
Okay, Willem, anything you want to do at LAPD before we cut to where are we going? Bullet Bob's.
What do we know? Is there anything I can find out about Quell from before she was a member of Wallace Corp?
Oh, you know what? Why don't you make a tech roll?
Okay.
To search the mainframe and see what you can find out. 2 successes. You blew past that one. So you have searched the entirety of the LAPD database front and back. The only mention of Quell is about 2 years ago when she's entered in as a senior VP of the Wallace Corporation.
Nothing before that. We don't know where she, where she came from, who her parents are, any of that kind of thing.
According to the database, she did not exist before 2 years ago.
She's a replicant.
Or they scrubbed her from the system.
No.
Replicants more likely.
Or she's an assassin.
Or she's just had a really boring childhood and didn't commit any crimes.
No, she'd still be. I mean, at very least, we'd have birth records or something like that.
We'd have birth records, school records, something.
You've now searched the database inside and out, both of you, for 2 people and found nothing.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to be a replicant. How would we tell that? How would we find that out?
And you know who the replicants are at the LAPD. That's fairly common knowledge within the LAPD, right? And then you know who replicants sometimes are outside the LAPD through reputation or whatever. And some will admit it, right? Especially Nexus 9s, they don't hide it. You get to learn what their templates look like, and you can spot them easier. Okay? But otherwise, you don't know. Wallace would know.
Oh, well, I mean,
where they are.
This is actually fairly easy then. Does Quell fit any of the templates?
Not to your knowledge.
And
Oh, she's special.
And hold on, though, there's not an issue with her being a replicant. She's allowed to be a replicant, right?
Yeah.
But it might complicate our case. And her loyalty to the Nexus 9 makes her an obvious. I don't know if she's a red herring or not, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. So
what disturbs me about her being a replicant is just that I assume that they're concealing that she's a replicant for some reason.
We could have asked her. Did you ask her?
No.
We could ask her. And like I said, I think she's a red herring. I'm smelling it, and I'm talking like PI talk with our crew right now.
Agreed. Although the fact that she doesn't correspond to any known mold does make her special in that regard. If she is a replicant,
Yeah. She might be a prototype for the Nexus 10.
depends.
Yeah, but she struck me as being obtuse and just too dull-headed. The way you described the conversation strikes me
Well,
as a
that's just
degenerate.
corpo bullshit.
Yeah.
No, but she should. If she's advanced, she would have been more subtle. Like it, Am I being wrong here? Like it came
Yeah,
off
well-
that she was just this sort of no. It's like really.
I don't know. People tend to be pretty bullheaded and ignorant as well.
Not like
Well,
a
one thing is for
android, though.
certain, she is
Right.
trying to derail the case.
Okay, anyway, if she's trying not to act like an android, she failed. That's what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. Right? We can agree on that.
So I will just remind you that you all know the story of how Deputy Chief Holden got his artificial lungs, and how that incident relates to the famous Blade Runner Deckard, and how he found out about a replicant named Rachel, who was a unique replicant that the Tyrell Corporation had made. So there is precedent to have unique replicants in the systems.
Is he still around?
Tyrell, no, a replicant killed Tyrell shortly after Holden got the bullet in his lungs.
Okay.
That was the old Nexus 6. Roy Batty was the one who was accused of killing old man Tyrell.
Yeah.
So this replicant might be like it seems like a corporate thug.
Well, she is a senior VP in the corporation.
Exactly.
You don't know what she's a VP of. That wasn't disclosed.
You gotta sell your soul to get that high up.
yeah. Or be created without one, apparently. Bert, it's 20 after 8. What time do you have to leave?
I don't have another stream after this one, so you can keep going if you want.
Okay, I don't want to go too late because we did have a cutoff, but I just don't want to. I didn't want to.
We'll get
Rock
Finna's and Olsen's in.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we are going then. So before we leave, is there anything else you two want to do at the mainframe Esper Wall LAPD office?
Oh, you know what we can do is hang out in case Finna and Olsen need us to look up something.
Okay, you know what? I think
Yeah, let's do
Oh,
it.
actually,
it happens at the
I
same
think
time.
I'd tell you guys about the book with the missing page. Maybe you can use
Sure.
your super special Esper hacking walls to look up a public book and look at the PDF and see what the missing page was.
Okay,
And
Andrew. Before we quit tonight, don't let me forget to give you that answer.
All right.
Kipling.
And
Finna.
Dorsey was off grid, right?
And Kipling was a spy.
I don't know what that is. Sorry, Fenna. What was that?
Missing
Kipling
William
was in
Blake
Norway or
poem.
something.
Oh, sorry, Fenna.
Gorski, wasn't he? He's off grid, right? There was nothing on him.
Oh no, he's in the database. He's been running Bullet Bobs for years. In his file, which you can easily access on your Kia, there's comments about how he's rude, condescending. He insults all his customers. But you can
He's
always
not that bad.
yeah. He's alleged former Russian mafia.
And my partner would fill me in on him a bit. I'd ask him, say, "So you know this guy? You met him? Does he work for Underground, or is he connected to the what do you call it, the Kill Squad Club?"
Kill magazine.
Oh no, Bob doesn't discriminate. Bob's on Bob's side. He's a big grumpy, but once you get to know him, he's a sweetheart.
He might be connected to Leah, who just probably put a bloody hole through somebody. So he might
Yeah,
be
but
protecting her or something.
then again, he might not know that she did that, and well, Bob likes to help people. I think. I don't know.
Well, Bob likes to help himself to your
Yeah.
wallet. He doesn't work for the police station or anything, or the police whatever. Like he's an independent business owner.
Well, despite Andrew's resurgence, I'm not going to trust him. I'll be watching the place when he shows up, and I'll meet him outside. Like, do we just want to go in front door and normal, casual like?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so Fenna, you've been there watching, and the place isn't open because it's in the morning. And Olson, you arrive a bit later and find Fenna. How are you staked out, Fenna? Are you in your spinner, or are you just standing around looking nonchalant?
Classic 80s Starsky and Hutch. I'm going to be like nestled back in the car, in some kitty corner of Tooth Angle. It's ridiculous, but somehow I mix in with the mailbox.
Okay, all right. So Olson, it takes you a bit to spot Fenna because she's fitting in with the crowd and everything like that. But you eventually spot your partner, and you go up to her. And just about this time, you see this figure approaching Bullet Bob's, and he looks about like what you remember him looking like, Olson. Balding, mullet, carrying a cigarette in his mouth, and it looks like he's got another pack in his shirt pocket, and he's just sauntering towards the door.
Balding with a mullet, so no business, all party.
Exactly, yeah.
Who's Bob?
This is Bob.
Even I recognize him.
Or is it just a normal long haircut, but with the balding on top?
So I flick my cigarette butt out, and that's him.
Yeah, it is the one and only the Bob Gorski that you were waiting for, and you notice that the shop still doesn't open for another hour.
So I'll scoot out of the car and scamper across the street toward him.
Okay, Olson, are you going with them? Are you two together?
Yeah, we're together.
All right, so you don't get there in time before the door closes.
Call it to Bob.
Or you
And
call
I'll
him out
put
while
my
you're...
foot in the door before it closes.
All right. So you get your foot in the door, and he doesn't notice at first, and what do you do?
Hey, Bob!
So you call out, and he stops, and he turns around, and he's like, I'm not open for another hour. Come back then.
We're not here for shopping right now. We need to ask you a couple questions.
Come back in an hour when I'm open. I'll answer whatever you want.
Bob, the sooner we can get this over with, the sooner we can leave you, please.
And he says something in what you can assume is Russian, and what you also assume would be multitude of swearing in Russian. And he comes over, and he's still got the cigarette hanging from his lip, and he just stares at you, Fenna, and he's like, ask question, what want?
I'm looking for a friend. Perhaps I should say somebody has me looking for their friend. And I wonder if you know a name.
Leah. Seen Leah?
I don't deal with names. Only money and guns.
Oh, I showed him a picture of Leah. Did this face give you money for gun?
He just kind of looks at you, and he opens the door, and he's like, come in, I get glasses. And you go in, and you just... So the shop is laid out. There's lots of guns on the wall. There's lots of guns in display cabinets in front. But there's no guns for you to directly reach out and touch. So they're all behind. So he goes behind the cabinets.
I stay very close with him. I move very fast.
So he wouldn't allow you behind the cabinets.
Yeah. So
He
I hold
says,
back Phineas, like, it's alright, he's cool.
customers stay here. And he goes back into his office, and you can hear him rummaging around and muttering under his breath. And he comes out with some glasses on. And he stands at the counter, and he's like, give me a picture.
Alright, give him a picture.
And he looks at it. I do not know her name, but she was here a few days ago.
Did you give a name?
I do not ask names, only for money.
So she bought a gun. Or what?
Yeah, she bought some 44 caseless ammo. The kind of stuff you'd put in a PKD blaster.
Okay.
Alright. That's
Now,
it?
in my inner voice, I'm thinking 2 days. That's too far back, isn't it? This crime was-
So you ask him, and he thinks about it, and he says, "What day today?" Oh, it was, and he tells you that it was the day after the shooting, so yesterday.
So she saw somebody came here, bought more ammo, probably to replace what she used.
That's just not. That doesn't make sense. I study him intensely, and I'm. How far away is he?
He's just on the other side. So it's just basically like you go into a store, like a jewelry store, you see like the glass cabinets. It's the same thing, except these are much cheaper, right? So he's just behind some glass cabinetry.
Now, do you remember this woman? Was she upset when she came in, or how many bullets did she buy? A box worth?
She bought a box. She seemed nervous. She was always looking behind her and watching if the door opened or watching any shadows that came across the window.
I have one more question. How did she leave?
He just kind of looks at you like you're stupid, and he just points at the door. She go out that door, and she go in that alley across street. I don't see her after that.
Under my breath, I talked to my partner there. So it doesn't make sense. I mean, she used one bullet to commit the crime. To make a connection like this is amateur. Maybe he knows more. You talk to him. And I look around the shop. I'm looking for clues and stuff, and watching him carefully with my hand very close to my blaster.
Okay. All right. So as you're walking around, Olson, do you have any questions?
Was she talking about anything in particular? She say something that stuck to you?
No, and I don't ask. People come in, they buy guns, they leave. I ask no questions. Better for business.
So she bought a box of 44 caseless, and that's it?
Yes.
Alright. This was after. Alright. Sorry to waste your time, Bob. Thank you very much.
And he just kind of nods. All this time, he never reached for a gun, Fen, or anything like that.
Nope.
So when we get outside,
let's look around. All right, Fen, you look around for any cameras. I'll check out the alley.
Okay.
My instinct was to punch him in the solar plexus. Get some answers out of him.
He's a big guy. He could take it.
Yeah, and
replicants
Olson would not be happy with that. It's like
the reputation is that he can take it and return it in kind, but neither of you have, I don't think, directly been involved with that. So it's only rumor right now. So you go outside, and you see there are a few cameras that would connect back to the Esper wall.
Right, note those down, send it to the boys back at the Esper wall, see if they can drag anything from there, and
Okay, and what do you want to do in the alley then, Olson and Fenna?
Well, let's go down the spooky morning alley. Well, it's the morning, it wouldn't be spooky.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
depressing.
It's depressing. It smells bad. So it's back here is just a bunch of old entrances to like old apartments and other buildings, like maybe back doors. If you're really unlucky, this is your front door. This would be almost considered slums. Like you can see a lot of windows are boarded up or broken. There's probably not a lot of people who would be proud to live here. Most likely transients or homeless people. is more what it looks like. And there's probably about 8 doors before there's a wall at the alley. It doesn't go all the way through to the next street.
All right, guess we'll call in, see if they can get an Esper wall on the camera, see if she went in through one of these doors.
Okay, 1 second.
Kitty.
Yeah, I know. She's bugging me. Settle down.
Okay, Percival and Willem, as you're getting the report to look up the Esper wall, you are getting results back from the computer about this book that Olson asked you to look up. It's a book of poems by William Blake, and the poem is called. I just have to find it. Oh, it's not showing me now, the poem.
Yeah. It was open on the Tiger, but then there was a missing page with another poem.
So I've been doing my own Esper wall search. I don't know if you've read the chat.
No, what chat?
So William Blake, it's part of a series called The Songs of Innocence and Experience. And I can't help but noticing there's also poems called The Little Girl Lost and The Little Girl Found that are part of that series. So I'm wondering if those are the ones that are missing. And the girl's name is Laika or Leia.
So the page doesn't have a name of a poem, so I'll share it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not meta this one because it looks like an actual page from a book, but it's just so instead of typing it and transcribing it, you can just read the handout. But pretend it doesn't look like it's going to be a clue from another scene.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's easy enough just to take that and run it through to find out the name of the poem because we know it's Blake.
Yeah.
So that's what's missing, based on what Willem and Percival have found. And then Percival found a whole bunch of other useful information that's actually not part of the scenario, the mystery, the case file, whatever it's called. So that's awesome that it fits in. It's almost like the authors knew what they were doing. I'm not a poem guy, so I didn't know any of that. As you're searching the Esper wall for photos from the time that Olson and Fenna told you to search for, you see a photo. You find some photos of who looks to be Leah, leaving Bullet Bob's, going into the alley, and entering a door.
All right. So I mark down which door it is, and I guess we'll go through it.
So I think this is a good time to end the episode.
All right.
I think we'll also call it the end of the shift as well. We'll start the afternoon shift next episode.
All right.
So everyone gets another 5 points.
Oh, what points? What kind of points?
Yes.
Points?
I don't remember the answers. There's too many points. This would be promotion points.
I haven't used any of my points so far anyway, so what do we have?
You should have
13.
I don't know if you started with any, but you should at least all have 15.
Oh, 15.
Because you got 5. No.
13, I thought.
No.
Yeah,
'cause you got
13 is what I have. With giving us those 5.
13 plus 5, you would have 18 then today. Because I think I gave
No,
them
I had 8 before, and then the 5 today would make 13.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not right. I
So
think
we
you're
have
short
are these promotion points or humanity points?
promotion, and you can use it to rank up. I just forget where the table is. Promotion. Oh, here we go.
Promotion and humanity is 0907 if you're looking at it in the
How do I?
Roll20.
Yeah, I'm finding it 0202. I don't know. Oh, that's the starter rules. Maybe that's why. 0907 under the core rulebook, right? So if you click on the I tab and then search for just promotion, you should get like 6 hits, I think.
Yeah, promotion in humanity 0907.
If you click on 0202, it shows you the table and how much it costs. So how many... Now, the first session I thought we had more than 5. Let me see.
I'm not sure. After the second session, I had 8 promotion, 10 humanity, and 2 Chinyan.
I had 8 promotion, 10 humanity, and 3 Chenyan.
I
Okay,
had
well, Chin...
5 promotion, 5 humanity, and 6 Chinyan.
All right.
Mr. Moneybags.
Okay. Everyone should, at the end of the session, everyone should have 5 Oh, I screwed it up. I gave you 5 humanity points, and then last session we didn't quite get 5 points. So you got 3. Okay, so everyone should have 13 promotion points.
Okay.
And then however humanity points you have.
Okay.
And then I would recommend, there is a chance that we finish next session. So my recommendation is to spend your promotion points. Or is it? Oh, humanity points are the ones to increase your skill levels.
Then what do promotion points do again?
Oh, fuck if I know. Oh, promotion points, you can learn new specialty of your choice. 5 promotion points to learn a new specialty. You can request specialized gear with promotion points. There is a table in the rule book for getting gear and how much it costs. All right, so everyone should have... How many humanity points? What's everyone got for humanity points? Personally?
I got 10.
I have
10.
10.
I had 5.
Okay, and Fenna, how many humanity points do you have? You got 1 extra today.
I have 1 total.
No. Okay, you all get 15 humanity points, because apparently you need humanity points to improve your skills. So you should have 16 then, Fenna.
Oh.
And everyone else has 15. I don't know if that 1 will get you anywhere unless we don't end next session. Maybe that'll add up. But so for 15 points, you can increase a B to an A. For 10 points, a C to a B, and for 5 points, a D to a C. If you want to go from a D to an A, it'll cost you 30 points.
All right, let me write that down real quick. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll throw it in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Katie.
Okay, I hope that makes sense. Because I don't know how to share just a pop-up window.
Okay, so we should have 15 humanity points. How many promotion points? 13?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay.
All
You're
right,
looking at how we earn
bring
them.
up-
That makes sense.
I'm going to spend 5 to bring observation from D to C.
Okay. I mean, you don't have to spend it. If there's a possibility next session is the last one, and then, so.
I'm gonna spend it now.
And because I like you guys, I want to give you a chance to earn more humanity points.
All right.
I want you to roll.
What do you want us to roll?
I want you all to make an appropriate roll, one skill, and if you succeed, you get an extra 5 humanity points. You choose which skill you roll.
All right. I cast Fist. Fist has failed.
Okay. Do you want to push it? If you push it, you have to take a stress. I'll give you this as a freebie.
I observe your fist and I learned something.
No, I'll take the L.
Okay, all right.
I got it.
Okay, yeah. I trust you. If you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, you can take a stress and then get the extra points anyways. You can buy it with stress.
No, I had hit the manipulation and got a strength.
All right.
So what does that give us?
An extra
I'll
5
bring up
humanity.
force from C to B, so that's all my humanity spent.
Okay.
Cool.
So I will
And
get
I'll
this.
spend promotion points another time.
Okay. Yeah, I think promotion points are maybe going to be perhaps less useful. It's not as easy as a skill point anyways, right? You have to remember to get one of those specialties, and then you have to remember you have it and how to use it and fit it in. So it's up to you. You don't have to decide today. It's 2 weeks till our next episode, so you can log in and do what you need to do at any point between now and then.
Oh yeah, because this isn't a Fantasy Grounds where you have to have it, the DM hold it up.
Right.
Like we can log in anytime and mess around with our character sheets.
Yep.
So all my skills are A. I don't know how that happened.
Well, I don't want to know. It's more important that you roll something than what you roll. Bert, can I ask you to do me a favor? Those links that you got for the poems that talked about like the names and everything in there.
Yeah.
Can you just send that to me? I'd like to include some of that in the summary when I write that up.
I'll put it in Discord.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, if you still have them open or something like that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Because I was noticing that there's some cool stuff in there.
Okay.
So this is the complete William Blake archive, and what you want is the songs of innocence and of experiences, which that poem was taken from.
Okay. I won't remember that, so you'll have to dump
Oh,
it in
you'll
there.
be able to find it just by typing in tiger, and you'll see where it falls.
Perfect. Are there any questions?
Yep, there you go.
Thank you.
No, we're
Any
good.
questions?
I think I'm gonna raise 2 C's to a B since I've got these 20 points of humanity. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
One of those is going to be gun. It might be useful.
It might be useful. You never know. I don't think any of you have shot anything yet, have you?
No. Not a single shot fired.
Okay.
That's pretty amazing considering we're American cops.
Willem, how you doing? Any questions? Still doing okay?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Good to see you.
With happiness.
All right, guys.
All
All right, sounds good.
Thanks for coming out, guys.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I guess we'll call it there.
That was cool.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody. We won't do any call outs tonight. We'll just say goodbye. Goodbye.
All right.
Bye.
Everyone.